Welcome to 8th session, subject finite element methods, module 1, introduction to finite element methods. I am Dr. Jayaraja R, assistant professor, mechanical engineering department, Government Engineering College, Haveri. In the 7th session, we discussed introduction to theory of elasticity, state of stress at a point, stress-strain relations, strain displacement relations, 2D problems of elasticity, plane stress and plane strain condition. In this 8th session, we are going to discuss temperature effects, 2D Pascal triangle, interpolation polynomials, simplex elements, complex elements, multiplex elements, shape functions, properties of shape functions, derivation of shape function for 1D bar element. Temperature effect. When the free expansion is prevented in a member, the change in temperature causes stress in the member. When the distribution of the change in temperature T is known, the strain due to this change in temperature can be considered as an initial strain epsilon naught. For 1D, thermal stress is given by sigma is equal to E du divided by dx minus E alpha delta T, where sigma is the thermal stress, E is the Young's modulus, alpha is the coefficient of thermal expansion, delta T is the change in temperature. For 2D plane stress problem, the initial strain epsilon naught can be given epsilon naught is equal to alpha delta T 0. Similarly, for 2D plane strain problem, the initial strain epsilon naught can be given epsilon naught is equal to 1 minus mu into alpha delta T 0, where mu is the Poisson's ratio. The stress strain are related by sigma is equal to D into epsilon minus epsilon naught. So sigma is equal to D B U minus epsilon naught. So D is the material property matrix, B is the strain displacement matrix, and U is the displacement vector. In general, in FEM, there are three types of coordinates system. One is global coordinate system, second one is local coordinate system, third one is natural coordinate system. In global coordinate system, the entire body or entire body of the parts are represented or defined with respect to only one coordinate. Whereas in local coordinate system, if I want to represent or if I want to define any part in the body can be represented locally using local coordinate systems. Third one is a natural coordinate system. It is a type of local coordinate system whose value does not exceed unity. Generally either a 0 to 1 or minus 1 to plus 1. The natural coordinates are dimensionless numbers. Now we'll consider 2D Pascal triangle. What is Pascal triangle? The polynomial should contain terms that do not violate a symmetry, which is known as Pascal triangle. Why 2D Pascal triangle is required? It is an easy way of expressing 2D displacement polynomial is with the help of Pascal triangle. Pascal triangle contains the terms of polynomial of various degrees in two coordinates, that is x and y coordinates. So this 2D Pascal triangle, I can use it for plane stress and plane strain condition. So this type of Pascal triangle can also be used for axis symmetric problem. Only thing we need to change x and y with r and z. So if I change x and y with y and z, so I can use it for plate bending element problem. So if the polynomial contains only one term, it is called as constant term, that is u is equal to a naught. If the polynomial contains three terms, For example, u is equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2y. It is called as a linear polynomial. Similarly, if the polynomial contains 6 terms, like u is equal to a naught x, a naught plus a1x plus a2y plus a3x square plus a4xy plus a5 y square, it is called as quadratic polynomial. Similarly, if the polynomial contains 10 terms, it is called as cubic polynomial. So like that, if polynomial contains 15 terms, it is quartic. Similarly, if polynomial contains 21 terms, it is called as quintic polynomial. That means as the polynomial contains more and more terms, so accuracy of the results will be more accurate. Results will be more accurate if I consider more number of terms in the polynomial. The displacement model selected for an element in addition to convergence requirement should be independent of the orientation of the local coordinate system known as geometric isotropy or spatial isotropy or geometric invariance. This means that displacement model within an element should not change with a change in the local coordinate system. That means the displacement model should not vary as the local coordinates are changed. The displacement model should be independent of the local coordinate systems. Here there are three types of polynomials are considered. It is constant polynomial, linear polynomial and quadratic polynomial. Here continuous line it is exact solution, a dotted line it is the FEM solution from the polynomials. So here if I consider polynomial only one term, it is called as constant polynomial, that is u is equal to a naught. So if I use this constant polynomial and solve the FEM results and exact results, there is a large gap, large difference exists between the exact and FEM solution. So if I use, instead of one term, if I use two terms, so that is called as linear polynomial. U is equal to a naught plus a1x. So from a linear polynomial, if I solve, so FEM results are FEM results are almost equal to exact solution, but there is a large gap exists, but it is better than the previous one. So if I use three terms like quadratic polynomial, u is equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2x square. So if I solve it, the FEM solution from quadratic polynomial, the results are almost nearer to the exact solution, but still gap exists. So that means as the terms, more number of terms used in the polynomial equation, then results will be more accurate. So there are three different types of elements. First one, simplex elements, complex elements and multiplex elements. Simplex elements are those for which the approximating polynomial consists of constant and linear terms. Generally, elements with corner nodes are considered as the simplex elements. So example, 1D two-noded linear bar element. So here this bar consists of two corner nodes. So this can be represented by a linear polynomial u of x is equal to a naught plus a1x. So similarly for 2D problems, here three-noded triangle or constant strain triangle is the example. Here this triangle consists of three corner nodes. So this can be represented by linear polynomial. So since 2D problems, each node has 2 degrees of freedom, it can move along x direction and it can move along y direction. So linear polynomial can be represented like this: u is equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2y, v is equal to b naught plus b1x plus b2y. Similarly for 4-noded quadrilateral elements, so this element contain 4 corner nodes. So linear polynomial can be represented for this 4-noded quadrilateral element. U is equal to a naught plus a1x plus a2y plus a3xy. Similarly v is equal to b naught plus b1x plus b2y plus b3xy. Complex elements. Complex elements are those for which the assumed polynomial consists of quadratic, cubic and higher order terms. Generally, elements with corner nodes along with internal nodes along with corner nodes are considered as the complex elements. Example, 1D Florum. Here, three-noded bar element. It is three-noded quadratic element. Here it contains two corner nodes and one mid node introduced between the corner node. So this is quadratic polynomial considered. U of x is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square. Here four-noded cubic bar element. So here two mid nodes are introduced between the two corner nodes. Then cubic polynomial can be represented ux is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x square plus a3x cube. Similarly, for two-dimensional elements like the six-noded triangular elements, it is also called as a linear strained triangle. So here it contains three corner nodes and three mid nodes. So quadratic polynomial can be expressed. So u is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2y plus a3x square plus a4y square plus a5xy. Similarly, v is equal to b0 plus b1x plus b2y plus b3x square plus b4y square plus b5x square. So here, if same triangular element contains 10 nodes, 10 noded triangular elements, cubic polynomial can be represented like this. Then multiplex elements. Multiplex elements are those for which the assumed polynomial consists of higher order terms. In multiplex elements, the boundaries are parallel to the coordinate axis to achieve inter-element connectivity. Example, rectangular element or quadrilateral element. This element contains four corner nodes, node 1, node 2, node 3 and node 4, and there are four mid nodes, node 5, node 6, node 7, node 8, and one more additional node is introduced at the center of the element. Multiplex elements are almost similar to the complex element. It contains higher order terms. Only difference is that the boundaries are parallel to the coordinate axis. Here we can see this boundary, it is parallel to the x-axis. Similarly, this boundary, it is parallel to the y-axis. Whereas boundaries of simplex and complex elements need not be parallel to the coordinate axis, but multiplex elements should contain higher order terms, but boundaries should be parallel to the coordinate axis to achieve inter-element connectivity. Then a shape function. What is shape function? Shape functions are the functions of the isoparametric finite element formulation, which gives the relationship between element displacement at any point within the element and element nodal point displacements directly. For example, so consider one-dimensional bar. It contains two corner nodes. Usually if I solve, I will get displacement at nodes, say at node 1 and node 2. So here using shape function I can capture the variation of the displacement. Why shape functions are required? Shape functions, what is shape function? Which gives the relationship between displacement at any point within the element to the element nodal displacement. So it gives the relationship between at any point within the element to the corner node displacements. In the element it is called as shape functions. So for one-dimensional element, u is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2. n1 and n2 are the shape functions. u1 u2 are the displacement at node 1 and node 2. So for 2D plurums, u of xy is equal to uv. It is the summation of I is equal to 1 to n ni ui. Summation of I is equal to 1 to n ni ui. For 3D plurum, u of xy is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2 plus n3 u3, n1 v1 plus n2 v2 plus n3 v3. Properties of the shape functions. There are four properties of shape functions. First one, so n1 should be 1 at node 1 and n1 should be 0 at node 2. So n2 should be 0 at node 1 and n2 should be 1 at node 1. The sum of the shape function is equal to unity. That means n1 plus n2 should be 1. Then third property, derivative of shape function is constant. That means dou n1 divided by dou x is equal to constant. Dou n2 divided by dou x is equal to constant. Fourth property, the shape functions are always polynomials of the same degree as the original displacement polynomial. Derivation of shape function for 1D bar element in terms of global coordinates. So here 1D bar problem considered. So this bar problem contains two nodes. This is node 1 and this is node 2. So at any point in the element can be represented as a x from this point to a particular point this. So node 1 2 at this particular point it is x1. Similarly node 1 2 at this point it is x2. So x2 minus x1 it is represented by length of the element. This is a linear interpolation polynomial u is equal to a0 plus a1 x. This generalized coordinate a0 and a1 can be determined by applying the boundary conditions. So for example, so at node 1 x is equal to x1 and u is equal to u1. So this equation becomes u1 is equal to a0 plus a1 x1. Similarly, if I put boundary condition here at x is equal to x2 and u is equal to u2, so this equation becomes u2 is equal to a0 plus a1 x2. So from these two equations, u2 minus u1 is equal to a1 x2 minus x1. So this can be rewritten like this. a1 is equal to u2 minus u1 divided by x2 minus x1, and we know that length of the element can be represented x2 minus x1. So this can be rewritten like this. a1 is equal to u2 minus u1 divided by length of the element, and we know this equation u1 is equal to a0 plus a1 x1. Now I am going to substitute a1 in this equation. So this equation becomes u1 is equal to a0 plus u2 minus u1 divided by LE into x1. So here this equation can be represented in terms of a0. So a0 is equal to u1 x2 minus u2 x1 divided by length of the element. Now we know the linear interpolation u is equal to a0 plus a1 x. Now I am going to substitute a0 and a1 in this equation. So this equation becomes u is equal to u1 x2 minus u2 x1 divided by LE plus u2 minus u1 divided by LE into x. So this can be rewritten like this. U is equal to x2 minus x divided by LE into u1 plus x minus x1 divided by LE into u2. So this can be represented like this. U is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2. So n1 is equal to x2 minus x divided by length of the element. Similarly, n2 it is x minus x1 divided by length of the element, where n1 and n2 are the shape functions. Now we are going to capture the variation of shape function for 1D bar element, and we know this equation. So u is equal to n1 u1 plus n2 u2, and n1 and n2 are the shape function, u1 and u2 are the displacement at node 1 and node 2. So and we know n1 is equal to x2 minus x divided by LE. Similarly n2 is equal to x minus x1 divided by LE. So here we can see at node 1 n1 is equal to 1. At node 2 n1 should be 0. This variation from n1 to node 1 to node 2 using n1 can be represented n1 is equal to x2 minus x divided by LE. Similarly, so n2 at node 1 it is 0 and n2 at node 2 it is 1, and variation from node 2 to node 1 it is represented by n2, that is equal to n2 is equal to x minus x1 divided by LE. So here we can see node 1 and node 2. At node 1 n1 is equal to 1, at node 2 n2 is equal to 1. At node 2, n1 is equal to 0. At node 1, n2 is equal to 0. So this is the variation of shape function for 1D bar element. Same concept can be adapted to derive the shape function for the 2D plorums, like simple 3-noded constant strain triangle, or we can also derive shape function for the 4-noded quadrilateral element. This is the end of the 8th session. Thank you.